of that. I'm the co-director of that. Our home is in HAYVN, and it's for women business. Oh, am I?
No, you're good. I muted you by accident for a second. So.
So the Entrepreneurial Women's Club is specifically for women business owners, and we have monthly networking luncheons. They're typically in person, but what we did last month and what we're going to do in April is it's going to be held via Zoom. So, and since they're virtual, there isn't going to be any charge for them. We normally have a charge for the 2-hour event because we have a really delicious lunch that Carolyn Eddy provides. So, so take a look. We're going to update our entry on HAYVN's calendar. So take a look for that. That will be April 23rd, and you are more than welcome to attend that. There will be no charge whatsoever. So we'd love to see a nice big crowd for that. And then hopefully we'll be able to see people in person starting in May. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But what we're talking about today is values and how you can tap into them as a way of supporting yourself, supporting your business. Typically, I talk about this with my clients, taking a long-term view, like an ongoing basis, and we'll touch on that today. But what made me really excited about doing this talk today is there's so much up in the air, right? Like this is a really unusual time. So it's a good time to identify all the different ways you can support yourself. And I think that tapping into your values is definitely one of those ways. So I want to start off by, defining a value. What am I even talking about here? And it's really, really simple. In my view, a value is anything that's important to you. As simple as that. And it really can be anything. So some examples are connection, community, faith, family, being financially secure, supporting others, volunteering, travel, making a ton of money, music, being in good health, honesty, things like that. Those are examples of values. And that's such a short list. Values can be so many different things. And what's really cool is, since we're unique individuals, we have a unique set of values. Knowing what they are and really tapping into them is like a secret weapon that you can use anytime, but especially now when you need as much support as possible. We all need as much support as possible. So why do we care about values? Well, first of all, as I pointed out, they define us. They help make up who we are, the unique person that we are. So you can think of a value as really part of your DNA, right? But they do more than that. They help guide us. They help us understand what action do I want to take? What's important to me, and how do I take action so that I am living in that value? You can think of it as like a lighthouse or a beacon of light that you see and you think, okay, that's a pathway I want to take. I want to get there. What action is going to take me there? So values are important. And what's also important is the action that we apply to them. That's what really moves us forward to where we want to go. So let me share 3 of my values, 3 of my top values to help explain how I use values in my business. My three of my very top values, freedom is probably the number 1. Freedom is a very big value for me. Another one is supporting others. And another one is being in integrity. So those values are super important to me. And here's how I bring them into my business. Freedom is brought into my business by the way I've set up my business. So my business model, 97% of the work I do, I'm guessing, is virtual. And I work with people all over the place, all across the country, in different countries. So I have the freedom to work from wherever I am and work with wherever anybody is. So that's really important to me. It's important for me to be nimble so that I can do other things in my life too. My value of supporting others, well, that comes out in the services that I do. So I coach entrepreneurs and others, but mostly entrepreneurs, So being able to meet somebody wherever she is, help her with the challenges that she's going through, that's how I can honor my value of supporting others. And then being in integrity. And what integrity means to me is doing what's right for me and not doing what's not right for me. So the way that can look is saying yes to the opportunities that I know that I'm right for, that are in my wheelhouse, that I know I can be helpful, I can be useful. So saying yes to those and saying no to other things that maybe I'm tempted to do them, but I'm not really the right person to do it. So that could be, recently I was asked to do a talk on a topic that I know a little bit about, but not enough to really be super helpful to the audience. There are other people who'd be better off doing that talk. So I saw it as an opportunity, but it wasn't, it wasn't quite right for me. So that's what integrity means for me. Choosing what feels good to me, what's right for me, and saying no to what's not right for me. What happens when we don't honor our values is, well, there are a few things that can happen. One, we can be really disconnected, right? Disconnected from what we're doing, uninspired by what we're doing, not feeling fulfilled, feeling, unhappy about it. I was in corporate like 17, 18 years ago at this point, and I loved the work that I did, but I didn't love what my clients' products were. I worked with really large consumer packaged goods companies, and they sold things like soda and cigarettes, and those weren't part of my lifestyle. So I couldn't really get excited about it. So I felt really disconnected from the work that I was doing, because it wasn't supporting things that were important to me. So that's an example of disconnect. In everyday business, it could, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling uninspired, it could be because you're disconnected from your values, that what you're doing, the work you're doing, what you're offering, isn't really in alignment with what you want to do. Or if you're working really, really hard and you're not getting the results that you want, maybe it's an example of working towards something that you think that you're supposed to be doing, but it's not really the right thing for you. It could be as simple as a service that you offer that you're working the heck out of, but you're not getting the traction that you want. I see this with some of my clients. I have some clients that offer specific services, and there's a particular industry that I'm working with where some of my clients feel they offer, maybe 4, 5, 6 different services. And every once in a while, there is one service that somebody offers and they don't love it, but they feel like they have to do it because they see other people doing it, or they feel like, well, my client wants it, so I really need to do it. And what happens is that particular offering takes over. It's the negativity of it, the fact that they really don't enjoy doing it, they really hate to do it, they're doing it because they should do it, or they feel they're supposed to be doing it. That takes so much away from what everything that you can be doing and everything that you love to do. So in times like that, if you're relating to that and saying, wow, I offer a service like that, I hate to do it, but I feel like my clients need it. Maybe it's an opportunity to collaborate with one of your peers, somebody who loves to do that service, and say, look, let's team up somehow in a way that's mutually beneficial. It will help your client. They'll be able to get what they want to do. It'll free you up. You won't have to do it. And your collaborator will get some benefit as well. We'll get some new business. So whether you do like a referral fee for that, or you do some subcontracting, whatever it is, there's a way to support your clients without you having to do the stuff that you hate to do. So that's just one example. And right now, so that's kind of like looking at ongoing stuff, but right now is such an important time to honor our values because it is such a crazy time. And I'm hearing from a lot of people and feeling some of it myself that things are out of control, right? We really don't have control on what's happening out in the world. It feels overwhelming. There's a sense of anxiety, whether you feel it a lot or a little. So it's a really good time to turn inward and say, what can I control? What can I do that's supportive for me, that is completely in my hands, and tapping into your values is one of those things. In fact, nobody else can do that for you. You are the only one who can do that. So it's understanding what your values are, understanding how well you're honoring them with your action, and identifying opportunities to take even more action on the values that are important for you. So how do we do that? Well, let's start off with you understanding what are your values. And these are questions that I take my clients through, and they're really easy to do. So I'm going to tell you what they are. And they're things that you can step yourself through. Some of the answers will come quickly. Some you might want to give yourself a little time and a little space, a little quiet time to go through them and understand what the answers are for you. So knowing what your values are, first of all, you probably know a lot of them already. You probably have words in your head that are your values. So you would start by writing those down. Start with the low-hanging fruit. Like, I know that confidence is important to me. Authenticity is important to me. Community support is important to me. Whatever your values are, write them down off the top of your head. That's the first pass. That's the easy stuff. Then we go a little bit deeper and specifically ask yourself, what's important to me? What do I care about? Those answers, whatever pops into your head for those questions, those are values as well. So you would add those to the list. Then it gets a little more fun. Think about, when are you most excited? When do you feel most like yourself? So think about times where you are really doing you, like you are so you couldn't be any more you if you tried. Like you are totally aligned, you're really grooving, you're really, really doing what you love. What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? And what values are you honoring? And taking a look at what you're doing, can you do more of that? Is there an opportunity to do more of whatever that is, either in your personal life or in your business? That's a great way to find opportunities for yourself. You can also ask yourself, who do you admire? You know, who do you really respect? Who do you admire? It could be somebody famous, it could be somebody not famous. And the reasons that you admire them are most likely values. So if you admire someone for her courage or her bravery or her willingness to stand up and speak for people who don't have a voice, or people who are really funny, people who are willing to take risks, people who are really committed to their family. All of those things are examples of reasons why you might admire somebody and how that can translate into a value. It can also, looking at somebody that you admire and respect, you can take a look at what they do. And those also might be opportunities for you to do some of that to help bring what you love, more of it into your life. So it's also a way to identify action that you can take. Because it's great to know what your values are, but it's really important to take action. You know, the values don't mean much without the action. You can come at this from like the opposite way as well. So take a look at kind of anti-values. So what makes you crazy? What really ticks you off? The answers to those questions, those indicate whatever your answer is. If you look at the exact opposite of it, that's your value. So for example, if rudeness really ticks you off, people being rude, that just makes you nuts, that could indicate you have a strong value of courtesy and people being nice to one another. If it makes you crazy when somebody is wasting your time or when you're wasting time, looking at the opposite of that, you could have a strong value of productivity, right? So you can see how understanding what you really don't like, flipping it over completely to something that is important to you, that's identifying a value as well. Okay. And we've been talking about individual values, but you can also apply this to your business and understand, what are my business's values? You know, so if you're the business owner, if you run the business, what are the values for your company? And you may have a good idea. You may have done some work on this. You may have a good idea of what they are. I would encourage you in this time to write out a values list, the value statements for your business, and take a good look at them. Where do they need to be like polished up a little bit? Does anything need to be added? Does anything need to be taken away? This is a really good time to really assess that and make sure that the values you hold for your company are matched by how you serve your clients and your customers. So those are several ways that you can identify your values. So you're going to make a nice long list. And once you do that, you want to see, I talked about how values are really important, but then it's the action. You know, how am I supporting that value? How am I honoring each value with the action that I'm taking? So you want to assess, okay, how well am I doing with this particular value? So for each value that you've listed down, you'll simply rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 is, I'm not honoring this value very well at all. I'm not doing anything that brings this value into my life or my business. 10 is, I'm knocking it out of the park. I'm doing this 100%. I feel really, really good about this. So you'll go through your list and rate yourself 1 to 10. And don't overthink it. This is meant to be quick. This is meant to be a go with your gut kind of thing. So for example, if volunteering is a value of yours, think to yourself, how well am I doing in this scale of 1 to 10? If 6 pops into your mind, 6 is the answer, okay? Don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it, don't do any math, just go with the number that pops up. Once you've rated all of your values, take a look at the ones that you've rated lower than you'd like them to be and ask, is this a good time to do more with this? Is there an opportunity for me to put more action behind this value? So if good health, being in good health is a value for you, I would say that this is a very good time to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to keep yourself healthy. Or if good health is a value of your business, you offer wellness products or services that support other people's health. Are you doing everything that you can to support your customers and your clients? If community or connection are values for you, how well are you reaching out to your team, your customers, your clients, your vendors, family, friends, your network? How well are you reaching out to the people around you just to stay in touch and help nurture that? That's something that feels really good right now, staying in touch with people, seeing other people, talking to other people. So if that's a strong value for you, I would say honor that as much as possible. And if being financially secure is a value for you, as it is probably for most of us, think about what can I do right now that will either lay the groundwork for that to pay off later on. What are some steps I can take now? What are some things that I can build that will help me now, that will help me in the future? Or where is the opportunity now? So even though that this is such a tumultuous time, it doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities to serve our clients really, really well and get paid for it. So I encourage you to take a look and see, is there more that I can be doing that's of service to my customers and my clients and the people around me that will also boost my revenue as well? Obviously, this is not a time to, it's never a time to try to, really take advantage of somebody, but if you can be of greater service and you can get paid for it, then do it. Why not? So I'm gonna get to questions in just a minute, but I want to offer you some other resources that I have. So I have a few things that might be helpful during this time. I have a regular email newsletter that goes out, and it's tips, it's techniques, it's strategies, it's stories, it's things that entrepreneurs can do to keep moving forward. Especially in a tough time like this, a lot of my writing is geared towards how are we going to get through this? I also offer some downloads that go with that, and I'm working on one now specifically for this time that's going to be available in a couple of days. It's called The #1 Phrase That Limits Your Success and How to Stop Saying It. Because I feel like in this challenging time, it can feel really easy to hibernate, right? To say like, well, you know what, I'm just going to take a break for a while. And I think it's important to cut ourselves some slack and take some rest as we need it and take a break as we need it. But I don't think it's a time to completely hibernate. This is a time to really think about, what can I do for me and my business, my customers and my clients, so that we will all succeed. And I'm going to come out of this really strongly. So the new download I'm writing talks about ways we get in our own way and how to stop doing that. So if you would like to sign up for that, I'd love to give it to you. I'd love to stay in touch. It's really simple. Just send a text. Text the word Rockstar, all one word, ROCKSTAR. Text Rockstar to 33777, and you'll get all signed up and you'll get all that stuff. Okay, so that's texting Rockstar to 33777. Okay. I've been talking a lot. I'm curious to hear if there are any questions that I can answer, or anything that anybody wants to share.
I just unmute. If you guys want to unmute yourself, we can chat. And then Lisa, in chat, do you want to put, it's Rockstar 3377.
Oh yeah, great idea.
I'm going to stop recording too. Okay.
I have a question.